Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another sort of Convallaria video, and today we're going to be talking all about Simona, a character that I have had a ton of fun playing so far in sort of Convallaria, and I think a lot of people have been enjoying her more than they anticipated. And this is a character that if you've been thinking about pulling and you like to play the game on auto, she has been a fantastic auto fighting character for me. She does a lot of damage, she's really hard to kill, she moves around a lot, has good mobility, she pairs well with Gloria, which we've already talked about. She has been an excellent auto battler for me, and she's just stronger than I think a lot of people were giving her credit for. There's been some talk about her on the Reddit as well. You can see like a Reddit thread right here. This is by Cousin Mabel, says Simona actually seems so good, question mark. Like, Simona feels like cheat codes enabled. She does a bunch of damage. Yes, she does. She's obscenely tanky. Yes, she is. And controls the battlefield. Now, the control of the battlefield, I think we're going to feel that a lot more at the actual end game. Like, once you get her final skill, I think you'll really see the battlefield control come out, but she still does a decent job with her like knockbacks and stuff right now. I'm enjoying her way more than anyone else I pulled, except maybe Gloria, who is well known to be top tier. Yes, and certainly lives up to the hype. She can use a Gloria's aura, which is great. And so why is the common advice not to get Simona? Let me answer that question first. The common advice being not to get Simona is because most people think about that, like, this is how when people are like, that guy giving you advice, you guys seen the meme of like, they're at an Astros game or something and it's some dude and his girlfriend and he's like got his hand around the girl and he's like, hand knifing her face and he's like, look girl, listen, Simona is not tier 0 in the Asian version of the game, and I look at Asian tier lists and like, look, if you want to have the best account, you need to wait for like, these other people. Like, I feel like that's kind of how people give advice, and that's not a very good way of giving advice. If you think Simona looks good, but you are worried about like hurting your account by pulling her, let me assuage those concerns. She is well worth pulling. So I was thinking she would synergize well with Gloria in August for a union team. I think so as well. Does future content make Simona bad, or what's the deal? And then there's a whole conversation about it. Somebody does say that in future content, enemies are immune to parts of her kit. Sure, but I think she will still be really good in PvP at that point. And when you're playing a gacha game like this, there's always going to be better future characters coming down the pipe. And if this is a character that you want to play and have fun with for a few months, like, don't concern yourself with 5 months from now content. I guess that would be my pulling advice. This is a game that you can play right now. And if you get several months of enjoyment, let me knife hand somebody right here. If you get, let me knife hand around neck, knife hand. If you're gonna get several months of enjoyment out of something, get several months enjoyment out of something. Who knows when you will quit the game or when you won't want to play anymore, all of that. Now let me show you how I'm building my Simona right here. I think her trait is pretty good. Now, when I say pretty good, what I mean is, like, I personally am not farming stars for her. I do note that her armor of ice cooldown, if you can get her to star level 3, goes down to 1, it goes off, like, she refreshes it, cooldown 1 turn. So that's nice, right? The 1 turn cooldown is better. So that's a big adjustment right there. But really, you're just getting 5% more attack and defense. And then if you get it to 4 stars, you get another 5%. It doesn't feel super impactful or as impactful as some other ones. So for me, I'm still doing Gloria, Beryl, and Inanna for my, star farming every day. But you could do Simona, especially maybe to like rank 3 on there or something like that. Now with her skills, with her skill tree, here's what I've picked. I picked Icy Blast over Ice Cone. Ice Cone's just really generic. Icy Blast is a knockback, super good. The AI uses this and regularly is like knocking people off cliffs. I then got Ice Assault for another little bit of damage and mobility. However, I think in like manual play, I will say Ice Made Armor might just be better, especially when you're fighting some like hard-hitting physical damage units. Giving Ice Armor to everybody on your team, regeneration, this could be really powerful, but I wouldn't trust the AI here. I would be using this manually, in my opinion. At rank 5, Ice Shards is the way to go. This is just like this pops a lot, like in auto play. And again, I'm using her mostly as an auto battling unit right now. In auto play, ice shards pops all the time, and she's always in there, like in people's faces. They pop the ice shards. It's just extra damage, extra control that she can do, especially with the move -3. Now, protection of ice. There are going to be situations in like really high end PvE or something where you just want to take 30% less damage. I could see this being equipped, but you would need to Castalia in, because I think you take ice shards just by default. Okay, rank 7, I think you take Flash Freezing. This is a single target attack. It's a really good one, and the battle flag of the Union that she has is just the like nerfed version. It's just the 10% attack and 20% defense. This will not stack with Glorious. It does not stack with Glorious, so I think you take Flash Freezing. At rank 9, Ice Maid Sword is the way to go. It's only range 1, but it is a massive multiplier. If the enemies have moved down or are currently on Frosty Tiles, it's 140%. Hits really hard for just a basic attack. And then at rank 11, I think you take Winter Doomsday, which I'm very excited to eventually get this. I need what, like 3 more account levels? So, you know, like a week and a half or 2 weeks, or Jesus, it takes a long time to level your accounts in this game. Anyway, Winter Doomsday is going to be that big control, that big ice zone with the ice walls and the freezing enemies that we're looking for right there. Now, in terms of gear, like what gear am I equipping on her? I have really liked the Starry Sky Heritage. I don't know that it's best in slot on her, but this is what I'm using. It might change, however. It might change because I've been using Diffusing Prism on my barrel, and oftentimes I have them in the same team. Now, Diffusing Prism is magic attack 8% up. Obviously, Simona is going to love that magic attack 8% up. So I think this might be the better play, and she does do some AoE attacks, especially once on Simona you unlock this rank 11 Winter Doomsday skill. At that point, I think you're going to want to go with something like Diffusing Prism, or maybe something like Resentment Broom. Now, I just got this. I just got my Resentment Broom. This AoE damage up 15% is crazy good for your AoE damage dealers, and after dealing damage to an active attack, 25% chance to inflict life loss equal to magic attack. This could be her best in slot weapon, or at least really dang good at max rank. Now, for now, on the climb up, Starry Sky Heritage has been getting the job done for me. However, I do think Diffusing Prism and Resentment Broom, really good options. Just again, how much gear can you be leveling? And I've gotten really lucky over the last few days, and I've even hit like a reorganized orb, which I could start building for, you know, some of my other units in the game, not for Simona. So 1, 2, these are like your better in-game choices, I think. Leveling up before you have access to your big AoEs. I really like Starry Sky Heritage. Okay, next, for your trinket. Again, almost anything that you've leveled will work here. We're not at the end game yet. We're not to that point in the game where it's like, you have all level 60 gear, you probably have a copy of everything. For me, what I've done is I've just been swapping her to gear that will help her stay alive and has cup on it to, you know, complete my damage up 5% in my life steal thing here. So Rejection Mask does help cover a weakness of hers. She is particularly strong against physical attacks. The Rejection Mask will help her survive an occasional magic attack. So I really do like that, even out of that epic gear slot. Otherwise, just go with like generic gear that you have leveled, that you have, you know, with your engraving on that you like the best. When it comes to gear engravings, like we can go look at the engravings real quick. I think this is pretty straightforward. I'm going with the Sword Cup. Just give me that 5% more damage and that life steal. I think that's fine, and I think that's plenty good. You could like switch it up a little bit and go for like the unharmed one. I've seen somebody float this out there, but I don't know. Like, yes, she does have a shield, which will help keep her unharmed. I think Sword plus Cup is just the way to go. That's the way I've been going with her. That's how I'm building her. Then when it comes to your trinket, okay. So I learned a couple things right here. One, you want a lot of magic attack in the details. Also with Devil, where you're getting these stacks and it says attack and defense up by 3% up to 30. Attack right here means both physical and magic attack. So she's another character where Temptation of the Devil is just gonna be great on her. This is what I'm using as like my generic DPS option. I'm putting it on her, and if I need to pivot to something else for like specific PvE runs or something like that, you can pivot to like a damage taken reduction if you really need that. If you need her to be like your debuffer, you could switch on, your debuffing trinket. But I think what I'm sticking with for now is going to be Temptation of the Devil. Just let her just ramp up as anything on the map is dying. And I'll tell you what, at launch of this game, something I didn't really understand was Temptation of the Devil doesn't mean that you have to kill something. It's whenever something on the map dies. And so you just start stacking these up. And especially once you get to level 60 and you're getting those 2 stacks a turn, wow, this really helps a character ramp up, and by the end of the fight, you are doing insane damage. Now, when it comes to an auto fight build, here's what I'm running. So I'm using Ice Shards, obviously, as my reaction, Ice Made Sword as my basic attack. I know you lose the range with Energy Wave, but Ice Made Sword is just so good. Then I'm using Flash Freezing for a single target long range, replacement, so I don't need that range on my auto attack. I have a 3-turn cooldown single target move right there. I love Icy Blast to just be knocking people around, and it does give me a little bit of AoE. And then I have Ice Assault for, again, another damage option with a little bit more mobility, and I'm choosing to run this over Ice Lance. However, I will say, I think you could put Ice Lance in, and I have debated this on auto runs, just replacing Ice Assault with Ice Lance, because you get that 130 modifier with the movement down on it. The benefit of Ice Assault is it's an instant, so she can do it and something else in the same turn, which I think for manual play does make it that much more valuable. But for auto play, I don't know if you can go wrong. I mean, just put an Ice Lance on there. I think that's fine as well. So there's my Simona build. That's kind of my thoughts on her. She has outperformed what I anticipated her performing as. So there you go. Mine's level 52. I could, look, I could sort of get that on the screen. Yeah, there's mine. She's level 52. We're at 2000 magic attack right now, and that's with like a trinket that does not have any scaling, magic attack percents on it. My trinket rolls have not been great. So I hope you guys' trinket rolls have been better than mine. Anyway, Simona has been great. If you're on the fence about pulling her, hey, let this be a feather in her cap. Otherwise, have a great day, everybody. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.